Good evening and welcome to the Pioneer Valley Regional School District School Committee meeting. This is Thursday, May 8th. I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:04. We do have a member joining us virtually, so we need to take a roll call vote.
Melissa Osborne here.
Stephanie Arroyo here.
Raina Dastu here.
Stephen
Martin here.
and Melissa Gary here. Okay, thank you. Citizens' comments. Seeing none. Right into the approval of minutes from April 10th, 2025. I did not have any. I don't know if anyone else saw anything.
On the top of page 3, number 2, I think it's clarified that the school committee chair is supposed to speak to town officials or at select board meetings. Was that the?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Or is the rep? Yeah.
and it wasn't necessarily attendance at, well,
Is the represent?
Came about that people had been getting phone calls from various committee members and asking them to attend meetings, and you had
True.
clarified
True.
that
Yeah.
it was, the chair was to be notified.
Or
the chair
meetings,
is the
yeah.
spokesperson. So yeah, so the chair is the spokesperson.
Yeah.
Yes.
For meetings with town officials. I guess I took it as
As opposed to
yeah,
the
just
town
it's
meeting.
more semantics. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the only thing I had.
Is there anything else? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to accept the minutes of April 10th, 2025 as amended.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Roll call vote. Michelle?
Michelle Druso, yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes. Great. Thank you. Okay. Reports. Chair report. So I just want to honor and recognize all of our teachers and staff this week. It's Teacher Appreciation, and we absolutely recognize the hard work that you put in and day out, including the weekends and the evenings and the holidays and the summers. And so I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for everything that you do. Okay. Yep.
Thank you. I echo the chair's appreciation for teachers. Thank you, educators, for everything that you do for our students and for each other. Thank you for building a supportive, kind and flexible professional community. It is so appreciated. A few announcements. With regret, I share that our early childhood coordinator, Marin Law, is leaving us. She will be heading to Union 38. That is the 4 towns that feed into the Frontier Regional School District. She will become their early childhood coordinator. I think it's okay to share that her little boy will be enrolled in school down there. And so we send Marin off with every good wish. And I will make an announcement about how we're going to go about a search for a new early childhood coordinator. Okay, a kind of interesting one, MCAS. 2 notes about MCAS. There is some confusion, and it is the case that the law allows families to opt their children out from taking MCAS. The law requires that we administer MCAS. The law cannot force a family to make their child take the exam. No, we typically have very few opt-outs. We had a few more opt-outs than normal this year, and I don't know how those will affect our accountability ratings next year. I believe we've had 7 kids in grade 7 whose families have opted them out. I don't know if that's for all of the tests or just part, and 1 student in grade 1, and I think I just heard about a student in one of the elementary buildings. I am letting you know this now, and I'll remind you later, there will likely be some impact on our rating because we need a 95% participation rate in order not to have it affect our rating. And the other piece about the MCAS. So many make so much out of the scores, and how MCAS happens has an impact on the scores. This week, I'm smiling, it's rained a lot. The rain in our area has an impact on our internet service. Wait, where am I going with this? In one of our elementary buildings, some of the groups started MCAS. We had a few other groups in one wing of the building who were about to start, and the internet went out. And our tech team raced over there. We have a highly competent tech team. And they couldn't do a simple solution. They could not, the simplest solution would have been to shut down the internet throughout the whole building. That would have booted all the kids who were currently taking MCAS off. It took them an hour and a half to resolve the issue. It's not a question of aging infrastructure. They had, I've checked into this. They replaced a couple of the switches, but don't ask me what those are, in that building. And so we had a few groups of kids who waited an hour to an hour and a half to get started after they'd been seated to take MCAS. They had as much time as they needed to take the test. And if I'm 11 and I know lunch and recess start at X time, I might kind of rush a little bit to finish my online standardized exam so I can go to recess. Even so, I'm just sharing this with you so that next year, I have no idea what impact there will be, but the rain affects our internet. Okay, a couple other things. School choice. I've shared this with you before. You approved school committee 10 new seats in grade 7. 7 kids have enrolled, not just applied for school choice, but enrolled. And we just got another application. That's fantastic. So there are only 2 spots left. Reminder, next month at the next meeting, we have recognition of retirees. We have 3 folks who are retiring. We invite you to join us at 5:45 for light refreshments. We'll send another reminder, and we are bringing those 3 people here, and folks will be sharing some remarks about each of them. Portable toilets, what we've all been waiting for. There are now 2 porta potties installed on that side of Pioneer, and here's why we installed them. Because currently, our athletes, visiting athletes, families come into this building after school to use the restroom. And that is not as secure as we would like. So we have installed porta potties out back. Jordan, our athletic director, and Annie will coordinate announcements to our families, to the visiting teams, that from now on, people will need to go use the porta potties. And those porta potties were strategically placed so that they are within sight of our security cameras, those new security cameras that you approved and that were paid for, just in case anyone makes an unfortunate decision to tamper with those. So portable toilets are now installed. And lastly, canoe building. As part of our environmental pathways career innovation work, we are bringing a local teacher who is also a very experienced wooden boat builder to Pioneer. We are inviting our secondary students, I'm not sure of the grades. The week after school ends in June, there will be a week-long wooden boat building workshop here at Pioneer, and the hope is that everyone together will build a traditional 16-foot wooden canoe. So, go Panthers. Cool.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Great. All right. Director of Finance reports.
All right, especially at this time of year, I think it's good that there aren't too many surprises. Things continue to move along as they should. So, 10 months through the year, still have May and June. We do have a negative balance in the special needs collaborative line because of a new out-of-district placement. Otherwise, most of the other stuff we've discussed at previous meetings, it looks in terms of overall expenditures that they're going to be $31,000 less than budgeted, so that's good. that we had, I think both, we're not going to go over budget, but also that we had a pretty reasonable budget, right? That it wasn't, say $200,000 off, because obviously that would mean that we are assessing towns a lot more than we necessarily needed to. So it's a pretty small amount that I expect to be left over. So a good deal of precision that went into the budgeting is now kind of bearing fruit. In terms of the revenues, again, those are coming along as we have expected, and I think that we'll bring in about $14,809,000, which is a little bit less than budget, but overall between the expenditures and revenues, the revenues will be greater than the expenditures, so that's good. We'll have a budget that's in balance. Lunch report, we had a small operating profit in the month, and through April 30th, overall operating profit of $1,728.14. Once we take into account the summer salaries, then we do have an operating loss overall at this point, a little over $32,000 or close to $33,000. That will go down next month because May has 21 operating days, which are the most operating days of any month, along with March, I believe, and maybe October. There are several months that have just over 20 operating days, so I expect the loss to go down, but there's going to be a loss, and I know that concerns people, especially given the history. We're already discussed ways to remedy the situation for next year, likely staffing a little more efficiently, so that we won't have an operating loss, but it's important to put the operating loss in context. I think, in comparison to the past, I think one big part is, we came into the year with $290,000 of fund balance, and is, I think, probably we've discussed before, fund balance for food service isn't infinite, right? You can only carry so much until it becomes something that you have to do something about. So I believe it's if you have more than 3 months of reimbursements in your fund balance that you need to pare it down. So we were getting pretty close to the limit anyways, but in the past, right, the issue was we had no fund balance and a deficit. Now we have a deficit that we could potentially run for 10 or 15 years. Not that that's our goal, but obviously the magnitude is important to understand. And I think the other point that's important is I think that these reports throughout the year have mentioned that there's a possibility of an operating loss, so it's not coming both as a surprise and with no fund balance. So I just wanted to, I do understand that we in this district in particular have a great deal of caution around the food service balance, but we're still in good shape, and we have a remedy that will ensure that there isn't, there's unlikely to be an operating loss. And I think one last important point that contributed to it, it's in the news everywhere, right? Loss of federal funding and the supply chain assistance that we previously received, we no longer receive. So that's contributed to the less than stellar outcome in terms of the operating profit loss. So I think we'll be able to remedy it for next year, and we still have a substantial fund balance. Any questions?
I have is that okay?
Yep.
You're looking at me, but I didn't know. The NES maintenance building, that has a large negative. Are you waiting for reimbursement from the town?
Yeah, that one's an interesting one. So that, I think we mentioned it previously. So with our auditor, we were returning money to the towns, right? We returned money to all the towns, and there was a capital project at NES for the front door that looks beautiful, that they said, well, we don't have the money to pay for it, so we spoke with DESE and devised a way to pay for it. And that would be, we're just going to take it off of the money we're giving back to you. So for round numbers sake, say we were giving Northfield $250,000 back. We said, okay, we'll give you $230,000 back, and we'll do this capital project. So we all agreed to that methodology. And the way I recorded it, planned to record it, the auditor said, actually, it would be better if you put it in a maintenance line And so really, we haven't overspent the maintenance line by $50,000. That capital project was a little over $20,000. So really, we still have $5,000 in the maintenance line in terms of what's actually was budgeted for operating expenses. But in addition, we've done a $20,000 capital project on behalf of the town. So, and I mean, if we want to get further into the accounting of it, the accountant's point was, look, if you overspend the operating budget, which I don't think we're actually going to do, but if you did, that would come from fund balance, right? It would come from your fund balance. So that's how you should account for it. Because previously what we had done is we had accounted for it. I think if you'll remember last year, we had done some work and accounted for it by changing the assessments and then essentially appropriating more fund balance. But they said, do it this way. So I took their advice. So that's why there's a negative balance there. That's really just, in essence, $20,000 of return of E&D that we had voted on in October of 2023. So that's just finishing up that piece. And so essentially we haven't spent $5,000 of the budget amount that we had planned to. It's not really a negative 15,000. It's a plus 5,000.
Anything else? Okay. On to the grants or grant acceptance.
Yes. So yeah, good news. 2 more grants. So we have the, speaking of school nutrition food service, we have a $20,000 school nutrition equipment assistance grant and a $500 Envirothon grant. School nutrition equipment assistance, I think I mentioned previously, very low acceptance rate for those grant applications this year, under 20% of the applications. And, the priority was to provide funding to districts who hadn't received that grant in prior years. And we, in fact, had. So I think that just speaks to the professionalism of the application that was put together. And, Cheryl, Director of Food Services, led that process. So that's a really good sign, right? They were prioritizing people who hadn't, but our application was so good it couldn't be ignored, and we received the money once again. So that was great. Right, so we're getting some more equipment. Actually, the total equipment cost is over $40,000, but hey, we essentially got 50% off because this is something that's needed to be done, and so we're trying to use some of our fund balance to ensure that we have all of this really expensive equipment up to date. So that's great. We had planned to participate in the Envirothon, and Julie Dubril led an application to get this money to put towards the entrance fees. So that's great, $500. And as we had discussed at the previous meeting, we need you all's approval before expending the funds.
Great. Thank you.
I just have a quick question. What is a steamer kettle combo? Because I'm guessing $40,000 is not like a pot you
I know,
put on
imagine
the
that.
stove.
It's a rice cooker.
Yeah, like
Very nice.
fancy copper plated.
Tariffs are
right.
jokes. No, that wasn't the promise. Domestically made. Yeah. So I think it's like obviously big batch cooking, and I wish Cheryl was here right now. She's probably listening at home laughing. So, anyways, but something they use every day to do
It's
any.
big.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big.
It's steel.
It's a combo.
It's probably got steamer.
Both a steamer and a
some-
kettle.
You put water in it.
I would
steam.
assume, for example, cooking large thing, right? Steaming a huge thing of vegetables for, 150 hungry
what it
children.
is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it does. Does many things.
Mhm. Okay.
Keep your hands away from it.
What is
Yeah.
the
Probably good.
Envirothon?
Now, I wish Karen was here. See,
Or
there are
Julie
people.
Duprio.
Yeah, exactly. There are people that need to be here.
It's some type of academic competition that relates to the environment. That's the extent of my knowledge. But we used to do it. Does anyone this
We
used
used
be a
to
big thing.
participate.
So this is a return
yeah.
to what we used to do.
Both of these things sound great, and I would like to make a motion to accept the school nutrition equipment assistance grant for $20,000 and to accept the Envirothon grant for $500.
Second.
Excellent.
Okay. And vote. Michelle?
Michelle DeRusso, yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And just continuing with all the good news. I mean, I didn't intend for this, but people are doing a lot of great stuff. So there's more good news. We have had overwhelming support for this middle school field trip to Broadway. So I had known, obviously, we had done some previous donations, and then Beth Byrne, who's helping lead the charge for this trip, provided me a full spreadsheet of all of the donors, and so I need to catch up because we had even more donations. And Beth, I think it's really good to bring up as well. The students are also reaching out, writing thank you letters to the donors and taking turns because they have so many. It could be a full-time job for one of these students, but isn't that great? Like a wonderful opportunity for our students to engage with the community. So we have 15 to 20 donations. And although it'll take a little bit, I think it's good to probably read these names out because people decide to give to the school. So Aaron Spencer, $50. Louise Paulson, $50. Cindy Peace, $110. Jessica Foote, $50. Ella LaParade, $50. Nicole Johnson, $50. Amanda McKinley, $50. Donald Shabbat, $50. Lauren Joe Rinfret, $50. Jennifer Coffin, $100. David Neal, $120. Kelly Garland, $10. Melanie Cloutier, $10. Michelle Browning, $20. And Marilyn and Doug Spencer, $300. So much community support. And I know there are other previous donations. So it may be that we have 25 to 30 donations to support this trip. Great news. And so if someone would like to make a motion, that'd be great.
I'll make the motion to accept the donations as presented and deposit the money in the PVRS student activity account to fund expenses related to the middle school field trip to New York City at Pioneer Valley Regional School.
I'll second.
Okay,
All right.
Michelle?
Michelle Druso, yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes, and thank you to everyone.
Melissa Gary, yes.
And a wonderful thing is, with basketball, it looks like the Knicks will probably still be playing in June. So maybe the kids will be able to catch a Knicks game.
Cut the mic.
Yeah.
Little too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve,
right.
Steve, can you hear me? It's Patricia.
I can hear you, yes, thank you. I heard that Nick's comment, and I almost...
Yeah. What did you say?
You heard the next comment.
Oh dear. I will not speak of basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah, thank you. Steve, I am reminded that you asked administration to let the school committee in our community know when we were closer to one of these big trips if further fundraising and support was needed. So I will report back to school committee at your meeting on the 22nd and let you know if we have any delta and how much money might be needed.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Out of state field trips.
Yes, thank you. These are 3 field trips. None of these is a big trip, but each trip does cross state lines and therefore needs your assistance. Rory Flynn, grade 5 teacher at BES, would like to take her students to the Connecticut Science Center. Tiffany Thomas, pre-K teacher at BES, would like to take her students to Stonewall Farm to feed the goats, see the chicken coop, and look at composting and gardening. And Danielle Denenfeld in our Essential Skills program here at PVRS would like to take a student for whom the trip to New York City would not be appropriate. And so that student is being invited to choose a friend, and they will head down for the day to the Connecticut Science Center. I'm proud for that creative opportunity. So I would be seeking a motion to approve. Do you want to do them separately or together?
We can do these together.
I would be seeking.
They're stated,
You're seeking
yeah.
a motion. I'm not seeking.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
That's
Trying to move
okay.
it.
So I would seek a motion to approve the 3 out-of-state field trips to the Connecticut Science Center, Stonewall Farm, and the Connecticut Science Center.
Second that motion.
Oh, you can make the motion.
Oh, I'll make
Yeah,
the
I'll make
motion.
the motion.
I will
And
make
I'll-
the motion to approve the 3 field trips as proposed.
There you go.
There you go.
Excellent.
Second the motion.
Excellent.
Michelle?
Michelle Drew, so yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
And Melissa Gary, yes. All right, have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Enjoy those.
Okay, wellness policy. Policy chair.
All right. Yeah. So, you have all had the opportunity to see a draft of the wellness policy. And I just want to begin by giving a shout out or just recognizing the co-chairs of the Wellness Committee, who are Cheryl Brown, our Director of Food Services, and Jacinta Hunting, who's the school nurse at NES and also the district nurse leader. They are responsible for reinvigorating the Wellness Committee, and the committee has representation. The members are listed here in the memo. Representation from several different roles within the district. And it was a very eclectic group, which was wonderful. There was a principal, the district nurse, all of the nurses from the 3 buildings, physical therapist, an IA. I was the representative from the school committee and some parents. So it was a lent of varying perspectives, and we had very informed discussions about the different issues. So it was a challenging policy from a school committee perspective. There's more detail, I think, maybe than we typically see in some of our other policies, but all of the things that are recommended by MASC are included. There's also more detail that was recommended as best practices from this the WellSat assessment tool, the Wellness School Assessment Tool that Jacinta and Cheryl were using to kind of as the framework for what some of the best practices and things to include in a comprehensive wellness policy. So we really tried to balance what was doable in our small district, what was manageable, and also there's a little bit of really encouraging some culture change around health and wellness and protecting a student's well-being throughout the day. You'll see some things referring to foods that are not served, and that's really to protect students that have health issues, most notably food allergies or other health conditions that mean that they have to have special diets and can't, some restrictions in their diets. So it's important to take the focus away from food, and also in terms of just general healthy eating habits and well-being, and not using food as a reward, those kinds of things. And also just encouraging adequate time to eat food, to eat your lunch and to have snacks that are healthy. So it's going to, we're thinking about messaging and where this information will be included. There'll probably be some things included in the handbooks, as well as just shared in general with, with the community. So that's.
Is this across like pre-K or K through 12?
Yeah, pre-K through 12. So this will be part of our school committee manual, policy manual, and it's across the district and across all grade levels. So it will apply to everyone.
And they took a 19-page policy
I was going to say.
and turned it into this really readable, lovely,
Yeah.
succinct document.
Right.
And I kudos. I mean, that I really, Jacinta and Cheryl really took that task seriously and really pared down any repetition and really came up with some great language that was concise, covers a lot of bases, and really, at one of the meetings, I was like, okay, we're going to have our task cut out for us. And then the following meeting, it was like, oh my God, you got that down to 3 pages? I was like, wow. So they clearly did a lot of work in between and really took the discussions, the information from the discussions, and built a great policy. So one that I'm glad to endorse. So,
Great.
Right.
Thank you.
So this is, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say this is our first reading. So if there's any comments or questions or suggestions, now's the time. We'll have the opportunity for a second reading at our next meeting. And that's when we would vote to approve it.
Yeah, so the second meeting is also to give time for
Yeah, to digest it.
to digest it.
Yeah.
As it were.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, so to speak. So, great.
All right.
All right.
Civil rights updates, student handbooks,
Do you wanna do
and
this
that's a
or-
vote.
You can
do this one?
go ahead
Okay.
and do that one.
So I will, the memo that you received is from Nancy Parlaclosh, our Director of Student Services. And again, these proposed updates were reviewed by the Policy Subcommittee at their meeting on May 1st, and they recommended this for full consideration by the full committee. As you know, the district is nearing completion of its tiered focus monitoring process that is carried out by DESE. And this particular tiered focus monitoring relates to special education and civil rights. They comb through everything and they find, and it's good, right? It's good that we have this oversight. So there are changes recommended or perhaps required for 4 documents. I'll go through one by one. Student handbooks. In Appendix F of our existing student handbooks, there are 3 places that need changes. The first is on page 1, and that says that we need to say in our handbook that the district will employ alternatives to suspension that include district-wide models to re-engage students in the learning process. That's good stuff. Secondly, on page 4, regarding in-school suspension, it needs to say that in-school suspension may be used as an alternative to short-term or long-term suspension. That is in practice how we operate, but the language needs to say that. And lastly, appeal of long-term suspension, page 5. If a family appeal of a long-term suspension is not timely, it may be denied. And secondly, and this was new to me, I must say, the district needs to provide prior notice to the family that the appeal meeting will be recorded. So it's not a question of asking the family if they want the appeal meeting to be recorded. It will be recorded. We will record it. And upon request, we will provide a copy of the recording to the student and the parent guardian. Any questions or thoughts about these student handbook proposed changes?
So my question that comes right to mind is, what is considered timely?
Oh yeah, let's take a look at it.
And
So
is
that's
that defined?
page 5.
Because I,
No, page, hey, why isn't that in the right place? Yes, it is,
I think it,
where is it?
if an appeal is not timely, because it's,
3 days.
okay.
No, no, that's not correct. Sorry, I don't mean to say that. Timely filed.
So the
Yeah,
appeal,
yeah. I think there's a typo there.
so the appeal shall be held within 3 school days of the
The appeal,
appeal, which
yeah.
is fine. But my concern is who's determining.
Yeah, I think that I thought that it had said,
It's on page 3. The second group of numbered
Okay.
Well, it's number 5. The right
Okay,
to
within
appeal
5
within 5
calendar
calendar
days.
days, which may be extended in writing to an additional 7 calendar days.
Would you like us to refer back to that when it says the timely filed business on the next page?
I would.
Yep, okay. I will make that, are folks okay trusting me? Just, I don't want to wordsmith in public. I
Yep.
will stick something in there. Okay,
Mhm.
yep. Add. All right, add definition. Thank you for catching that.
Mhm.
Timely.
Yeah, so
Page
it'll
3.
be,
Thank you.
Other thoughts about that set of updates? Oh, okay, I will go to the next set. In the district's bullying prevention and intervention plan, the words cyberbullying and retaliation need to be added to page 4. We need to specify on page 8 what our methods for teaching appropriate behavior through skills building will be, and that is in the elementary level we use second step and responsive classroom, and at the secondary level we use restorative practices. Page 10, and this is good. We need to make clear that the district will conduct a climate survey every 4 years to monitor the impact of our bullying prevention and intervention practices, and there are a number of resources out there. There are a number of surveys out there that other districts use. And page 12 provides notice to families that they may contact DESI's problem resolution system people, and the contact information are there if they have concerns about our handling of bullying situation. Questions or comments about the proposed changes to the bullying prevention and intervention plan?
Do you know when the last time we conducted the survey?
No idea. I don't.
Okay.
And not in my time.
Okay.
So it's
So
been
is
4
that
years.
something that we are going to, when will that,
That's an excellent idea. School
when
committee.
when will that clock start?
Well, I think the clock starts the minute this is approved.
Okay.
The language is added, the clock
Okay.
will start.
Okay. So, yeah, so I would
Yep.
like to see that done.
Why don't we try it next year?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine.
Okay, no, I think that's great. So BPEP, do survey next year. And these proposed changes in both the student handbook and the bullying prevention and intervention plan, if you approve them, they become effective immediately. You do not need to do a second reading of these. They're not policy. The next one, however,
oh, before we move
Yeah, sorry.
on, so this prevention and intervention plan is on our website, the
Yes.
district website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, they would have noted a finding if it were not available on the website.
Okay,
Our bullying and incident reporting form is on the website as well.
excellent, great.
Now, the next one would be a first reading because it relates to policy JKAA and JKAAR. When there's a -R on a policy name, it means that it's the procedures.
Could we actually, I would like to entertain a
go ahead.
motion.
Yep.
To request that we do a one meeting approval for the student handbooks as presented. The motion is written on the back of our memo before we move on to JKA.
I'll make a motion to approve the changes to the student handbooks as presented and to approve the changes to the district's bullying prevention and intervention plan as presented.
I'll second that.
Great, thank you. Michelle?
Michelle Giarrusso, yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Thank
Okay.
you. And when you approve these types of changes, I send a district all email. I also include it in the district update so that all families are notified that there's been a change to the student handbooks. Okay, the last set of proposed changes for right now is in policies JKAA and JKAAR. In JKAA, the word medical needs to be changed to medication. And so instead of the use of mechanical restraint, medical restraint, and seclusion is prohibited, the use of mechanical restraint, medication restraint. And then in policy JKAAR, which is the procedural document, in section 4, we need to make clear that the district will not use a prone restraint. And then we need to add, unless permitted by 603 Commonwealth of Massachusetts Regulations 46.03 1B.
Okay.
So if there are no questions about that, we will bring that back to you at your next meeting for a second reading. Thank you.
Good. All right. Town meetings. 'Tis the season. All right. So we recently, Northfield just had their town meeting this past Monday. They overwhelmingly voted past our budget. There may have been 1 or 2 voices that were nay, but everyone else supported our budget, so that is excellent. We have Bernardston's town meeting coming up on Saturday, May 17th at 10 a.m., which is different. They're typically during the week, but there is a change this year to do a Saturday morning at 10 a.m., so to be aware of that. It yesterday came to our attention today that the warrants were posted for Bernardston, and the select board and the finance committee have voted not to recommend our budget, which came as a surprise. We did not have any heads up that there was any problems or issues or concerns with our school budget, but that is how the warrant is written. So just to give everyone a heads up that that is how it's written in the warrant. So we will see how that is presented at the town meeting for Bernardston. The Leiden town meeting is June 2nd. To clarify, the Bernardston town meeting is at the Pioneer Auditorium, which is also a change. It has been previously at the farm table. It is not there. So it's a Saturday morning at Pioneer, and that is a big change. So for those of you that are listening who are attending, just be aware of that. Leiden town meeting is June 2nd at 7 p.m. at the Leiden Town Hall. They have not posted their warrant yet. So that is on Leiden members' agendas. Anything else I am missing from town meetings? Okay. Strategic planning. There is this beautiful, again, budget highlights that was handed out at the Northfield town meeting and will be handed out at the town meeting, highlights our budget, what our district has been doing. Patricia greeted people as they were coming in and handed this to everyone.
Really nice.
It was really nice.
And Jordan also.
Okay, I was already seated. So
were seated,
Jordan,
yeah.
Jordan, fantastic. But this is a beautiful budget highlights that is a handout for the town meetings. That
Thanks.
is
And
lovely.
the posters that were hanging in
Yeah,
the
we
hall
made some
were
posters.
Yeah.
gorgeous
Yeah,
as well.
Thanks. Isn't
Yeah.
it so nice to have student artwork? And
Yes.
everything?
I
And,
love it.
you know, may I see yours for a second? 'Cause
Yeah.
mine isn't. Kudos to you, school committee. When you look at the investments from the past year, and you see what you have approved in this facility and in terms of school safety, you have accomplished a lot. You have made serious and good improvements that I think every town can be proud of. This is a good way to spend our money, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Strategic planning process update.
Yeah, so we're gonna have this. Everything is good. We're gonna have to do some thinking. Albert Musad Johnson from the Collaborative for Education Services will be our consultant on this project. He and I are not going to be able to meet to do any preliminary, okay, what might dates be, what exactly is it going to look like, for another week and a half. So the question then arises, what is the school committee's desire regarding getting started? Do you think you want to try and have some conversations happen later this spring, and then pause for the summer and finish the process in the fall? Do you want to start the spring and carry into the summer? Do you want to start the spring and then make a decision once you've had a couple of sessions?
Well, for me,
The look.
I'll start. Right now, from now until June, I just can't fit in another meeting. But I think having one or two in the summer, and everyone can't be there, it would just take the pressure off of a bunch of meetings again in the fall.
Yep.
And then into the winter, having like this week 4 meetings every night. I haven't been home before 9 o'clock is a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm growing very old fast.
Yeah.
So, and then that starts up again in the fall, like, November or so.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind meeting once or twice in the summer. I don't know about anyone else.
Yeah, I would also be curious on Albert's schedule too and calendar. But I think getting through the spring, and I think the summer, we may have a hard time getting people to join the committee. In the summer, people aren't necessarily going, maybe. So it's typically a community, that we can still put it out there, for people to participate in, families and stuff. So I think it's great to start it in the summer. I think the spring feels like it's already passed. I feel like that's a past tense. So I would say we could aim for the summer, but to also be aware that I don't know who's going.
Yeah.
That it.
For community, I get.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, is it okay if I jump? I'm looking at one of our documents from the April 10th. What? Boy, that was a month ago.
Yes.
April 10th. Okay. That's when you approved the vendor. And we
Yes.
shared with you, create the 5-year plan.
Right.
The first steps are to have an admin team meeting and a planning team meeting. Includes school committee, community, 10 people max. I wonder if we could try and do that this summer.
Yep.
And then there's okay.
So what if we put it on our July 17th? We have not voted for July 17th yet.
Oh.
What if we, for our July meeting, or do you want to do it for like a June meeting for like a July date? Like we could put it as an
to
agenda
put
item.
stuff out to Albert. I think if you have any, if you have any ideas, why don't I give him a couple dates to consider holding?
Yeah. So I would, I'm just looking at our calendar. June 12th is a school committee meeting.
That one starts a little bit late.
It does.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It does. So if you could contact Albert
Yep.
by the June 12th meeting, and we could then come up with some dates for July
At that meeting.
at that meeting.
Okay.
And then start kind of the promotion of that. To get some community members.
People I feel like people's brains disperse
Mhm.
when school is out.
Right.
Families.
Let's put it on our 1-to-1.
Yeah, fine. Thanks. Thank you.
And we will bring it to you either at the May 22nd or the June 12th meeting. We'll figure that
that's
out.
better.
How does that sound? Does that sound okay with everyone? Okay.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
good.
All right. Okay. All right. School governance, school committee meeting calendar. So here is a suggested / proposed school committee meeting. It goes along with the calendar of what we have for annual items we need to discuss. So in August, there's 2 meetings because there's a lot of stuff that gets done within August. And then we go to the 1 meeting for a few months. Again, if we need to have a special meeting for something, we can always schedule them. But these would be the proposed dates and times for school committee meetings. I don't.
Do we have the dates of the, I was just looking, trying to look up the MASC and MASS conference?
Yep. They're not those dates.
Okay. Usually it's earlier in November.
Veterans Day
Yeah.
week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not finding it easily, so,
Okay.
but, yeah, I believe you.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
The MASC, that conference is November 12th, 13th, 14th.
Okay.
Veterans Day week. Yeah. Okay.
And we have no election this year.
Yes. Okay, I would entertain a vote to approve the dates as written for school committee meeting for the 2025-2026 school year.
Make a motion to approve the school committee meeting schedule for 2025-2026.
Second.
Okay, Michelle?
Michelle Druso, yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Stephen Martin, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes. Great, thank you. Okay, personnel update.
You have the list there. I think we are lagging a little bit. So we did not put up here all the summer school positions. As you know, we run what's called extended school year. That is a summer program for students whose IEPs require that they be provided services with over the summer. We didn't put those up. Those are temporary positions. We don't put coaching positions up here. There will be, I think I'm going to give you an updated one next. We normally do this once per month, but I think I'd like to bring you an updated one at your next meeting on May 22nd.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And enrollment update.
I think we got no changes. Am I?
Or one less.
22.
I have a-
Yeah, we're 0 this month.
I have a question. You have not picked up a student from Warwick 7th grade since April vacation?
It's sounding like maybe.
You should have.
Okay.
And if you haven't, I need to follow up on my end.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have not, that's
Let
something
me-
for me to talk to our
Yep.
superintendent about. Thank you.
You said grade 7?
One extra in 7th grade, but
Oh, no.
No, yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, and that's why I'm asking, and it's
Okay.
it's of importance. I want to
Okay.
make sure that
Sure,
the
that's-
parents follow through.
Thank you.
Well, no, there is a grade 7 increase of 1 student.
Okay.
Are you asking me to confirm?
I will have
Separately.
I will have Carol call you
What?
just to
Okay, great. So
confirm
I'm
it's
not gonna do
the
anything.
same person. If I knew it was from Warwick, I'd feel good, but I just want to make sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we can also, hang on one sec. Have her call me.
I'll have her call you.
Yep.
And I told her when we had the meeting, I would double, that was
Thank you.
our trip line.
Okay.
And on unanticipated, I have one quick request of the chair when you get there.
Okay, I'm there.
All right. Greetings from Warwick. We just finished our town meeting this week, so
Oh,
it'll be
Oh, I saw that in
congratulations.
the paper.
sleep next week. It went well. But as we go through elections, we're expecting a reshuffle in our school committee
Okay.
from Warwick. So there was a request put in by the outgoing chair that we remind you and ask you to start scheduling negotiations for future tuition agreements for the following year, over the next year. So when we reform our committees, we can start looking at that on our committee assignments for the following year.
I'm delighted to hear, Mr. Snell, that Warwick would like to entertain another tuition agreement with the district.
There you go.
This is big news, because Warwick has appropriately been engaged in due diligence and considering their options. So I'm taking this to mean that you would like to continue with Pioneer.
We would like to continue planning with you, and we certainly have interest from the community as far as our feedback has been. So
Great.
the answer is yes.
That's
So that's why I've been asked to
Yes.
formally ask you to
Yes.
put together a committee
Great.
as soon as you can so that we
Yes.
can form our new
Okay.
committee as well.
Great.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful news.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Great. Okay. Upcoming, or is there any other business? I don't have anything.
I just want to note that yesterday was School Nurses Day.
Thank you.
So I want to acknowledge the nurses in our district who work very hard to keep our kids healthy and safe. So
Yes.
yeah, little shout out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so upcoming meetings, collective bargaining and personnel subcommittee meeting on the 14th at 5:45 p.m. And the next regularly scheduled school committee meeting will be May 22nd, the 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m. There is no executive session tonight. And so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. Michelle?
Oh, Michelle Druso, yes.
Melissa Osborne, yes.
Stephanie Arroyo, yes.
Raina Dastu, yes.
Steve Barton, yes. Thanks, everyone.
And Melissa Gary, yes.
Look.
Wow. Woohoo. All right. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.